Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Once, there was a poor woman who had 3 sons, Tom, Bob, and Jack. Jack was the eldest, Bob was the middle son, and Tom was the youngest. They lived in a small village. Although they were happy together, their mother struggled to provide for them. So, the 3 brothers decided to find work. Tom found a kind man in the next town who made tables and other wooden things. He worked hard for a whole year, and when the year ended, the man gave him a special table. It looked old and plain, but the man smiled and said, "This is a magic table. Just say, 'I am hungry,' and wonderful food will appear on it." Tom was amazed. "You are very kind," he said gratefully, and left with his magic table. He traveled from city to city and country to country, carrying his table on his back. Whenever he was hungry, he put the table down under a tree, by a river, or on the street and said, "I am hungry." Instantly, delicious food appeared, and he never went hungry. After some months, he missed his mother and decided to return home. On the last night of his journey, he stopped at an old house where an old man lived. "Can I stay here for the night?" Tom asked. The old man nodded. "Yes, you can stay, but I have no food to give you," he said. Tom smiled. "Don't worry, we can eat together," he replied. He placed the table down and said, "I am hungry." Instantly, the table filled with wonderful food. The old man was shocked but pretended to be happy as he ate with Tom. However, deep inside, the old man was greedy. "If I take this magic table, I will never be hungry again. I can sell food and become rich," he thought. That night, when Tom was asleep, the old man secretly took the magic table and replaced it with an ordinary one. The next morning, Tom, unaware of the switch, picked up the fake table and continued his journey home. When he reached his village, his mother was overjoyed to see him. "My son, what did you do while you were away?" she asked. "I made tables, and I brought back a special one," Tom replied proudly. His mother looked at the table. "It doesn't look very special," she said, "but it is. It's a magic table. Just watch," Tom said, excited. His mother invited all their neighbors to see the magic. Tom placed the table in front of everyone and said, "I am hungry," but nothing happened. No food appeared. Everyone laughed, thinking Tom was joking. Embarrassed and angry, Tom realized the old man had stolen his real magic table. Heartbroken, he ran away and returned to his old job. He wrote a letter to his brother Jack, telling him the whole story. Meanwhile, Bob, the second brother, worked in a village far away. He worked hard for a kind man for a year. When the year ended, the man gave Bob a small donkey. "You can't ride this donkey," the man said, "but it is very special." "How is a small donkey special?" Bob asked. "It's a magic donkey," the man explained. "Place a box under its mouth and say, 'Bricklebat.' Gold coins will fall from its mouth. You will never be poor again." Bob was overjoyed. "You are very kind," he said, thanking the man. Like Tom, Bob traveled from place to place. He bought expensive clothes, ate the best food, and stayed in grand houses. Whenever he needed money, he said, "Bricklebat," and gold coins fell from the donkey's mouth. After some months, Bob missed his mother and decided to return home. On the last night of his journey, he stopped at the same old house where the greedy old man lived. "Can I stay here for the night?" Bob asked. "Yes, but you must pay for your food and bed," the old man replied. Bob laughed. "You will have plenty of money," he said. After eating, Bob stepped outside with his donkey. The old man secretly followed him and hid behind the door, watching. Bob placed a box under the donkey's mouth and whispered, 𝘚𝘌𝘍𝘓. Instantly, gold coins poured into the box. The old man's eyes widened with greed. I must have this donkey, he thought. Later that night, while Bob was asleep, the old man took the magic donkey and replaced it with an ordinary one. The next morning, Bob unknowingly took the fake donkey and continued his journey home. When he reached home, his mother was delighted to see him. "What did you do while you were away?" she asked. "I worked for a kind man, and he gave me a magic donkey," Bob said proudly. His mother looked at the small donkey. "It doesn't look very strong," she said. "It's not strong, but it is magic." "Watch this," Bob said, inviting the villagers to see. He placed a box under the donkey's mouth and said, "Bricklebat," but nothing happened. No gold coins appeared. The villagers laughed, thinking Bob was making up stories. Bob was furious. He knew the old man had tricked him. Heartbroken, he ran away and returned to his old job. Like Tom, he wrote a letter to Jack, telling him the whole story. Jack, the eldest brother, worked for a woodcutter. He worked hard for a year, and at the end of the year, the woodcutter gave him a small wooden box. Inside the box was a simple stick. Jack frowned. "Why are you giving me a stick?" he asked. The woodcutter smiled. "This is no ordinary stick. If someone is unkind to you, just say, 'Stick,' out of the box, and it will jump out and hit them. Say, 'Stick,' back in the box, and it will stop." Jack was curious. He took the box and started his journey home. On the last night, he stopped at the same old house. The old man welcomed him, and Jack told him about his journey. "Did you know there is a magic table and a magic donkey?" Jack said. "But I have something even more powerful." The old man's eyes sparkled with greed. "Something more powerful? I must have it." That night, as Jack pretended to sleep, the old man crept into his room and reached for the box. Suddenly, Jack shouted, "Stick," out of the box. The stick leaped out and began hitting the old man on his head, back, and arms. "Stop! Stop!" the old man cried, but the stick kept hitting him. Jack crossed his arms. "Give me back my brother's magic table and magic donkey, and I will stop it. Yes, yes. Take them. Just stop the stick," the old man begged. Jack smiled. "Stick, back in the box." Instantly, the stick stopped. The next day, Jack took the magic table, the magic donkey, and the stick home. His mother was overjoyed to see him. Jack's mother wrote to Tom and Bob, and they both came home. She invited the whole village, and this time, the magic table filled with food, and the magic donkey gave gold coins to everyone. From that day, the old woman and her 3 sons lived happily ever after.